He has trained over 5,000 school teachers across the country in various topics like assessment and 21st century education, prepared and handled classes in CTET, and was a corporate trainer in soft skill. He has expertise in science education, ICT, educational research and statistical analysis, and curriculum design and development. He has contributed to different Swayam and MOOC courses and published papers in national and international journals. He was master trainer for Microsoft and Intel and handled sessions and workshops for NCERT, CIET, SIET, Kerala, handled sessions at all HRDCs of Kerala, designed and conducted training at APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, University of Calicut, Kannur University, Sri Sanskara University on LMS, OBE, and instructional design. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, sir.
So I hope I can start, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So very good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction. So let me thank the director, MMTTC Bhimrao Ambedkar University, and the coordinator, and especially Rafe sir, and all my dear fellow beings who have joined for this particular session. Today's session, as I could see the topics which are given, we would be discussing on learner-centric and cognitive development-based approaches in teaching. So it's a topic which is very interesting, but the only problem would be you may find it. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So basically, I'll be focusing on constructivism. Now, in the beginning, I'd like to make it very clear. In between, I'll try to make it bilingual, maybe using thoda Hindi. But you are free to ask in Hindi also. I can understand. I may not be very fluent in Hindi, so pardon for that. But some of the terms maybe coming in the session would be very new to you. I'll try my level best to make it very clear. And I request all of you to interact as much as possible. Otherwise, it will be a monotonous where I will keep on talking what I know or what I learned, and you may feel bored. So let's make it more meaningful and as much as possible interactive. Now, looking at the title, you may feel that what is it? Why should we have or why should we know about it? Being faculties of higher education, we know we are bound by the UGC regulations. I don't know how frequently you visit UGC website. After NEP 2020, UGC has come up with lots of materials in terms of guidelines, reports, white paper. Almost more than 30 documents are available. One of the document talks about blended learning. It is a draft document available. Another document which talks about the curriculum framework for 4-year undergraduate program. Another document talks about outcome-based education. So like this, there are a number of documents wherein ultimately the focus of any of the, maybe the Ministry of Education or UGC The ultimate aim is to provide quality education to our students. NEP comes out with different approaches, multidisciplinarity, because our courses can become multidisciplinary, where there is a scope of team teaching. Rather, I teach a particular subject. Suppose I am an English teacher. I need not focus only on English, or I alone need to teach. I can have, maybe suppose there is something related to sound or phonetics or something related to poetry. I can bring people, suppose you want to talk about the technical, or suppose you are talking about media culture. I can have a media faculty from the Department of Media. Or I can bring an information scientist. So UGC opens up the opportunities in terms of flexibility, wherein we can become more multidisciplinary. And I hope most of you are multidisciplinary in nature. Though you are teaching a particular subject, you may have either mastery in some other subjects. As a teacher, when we function in the classroom, right now we have an opportunity to function as a teacher outside the classroom also, where you may have an online education possibility. We have different roles in the classroom and outside the classroom, or in the department or in the university. We have different roles. Whatever role we have, our prime focus is teaching. To teach, or I teach, therefore I am. Some people say like that. While teaching, one of the simple questions I used to ask every time to me, am I satisfied? Right? Each one of us ask at the end of the day, am I satisfied by the way I am teaching? And many a time, I am not satisfied. Many a time, many of us are not satisfied. We say we are all continuous learners. We are learning continuously, even from our students. Now, how best we can support our students to learn better is the question. Now, to begin with, I'll just present before you a small analogy. You can easily connect. You can see there is a bicycle. That bicycle has got two wheels. Now, some of our teachers in the classroom, they say, okay, let us start the journey. You may be a commerce faculty, you may be a political science faculty, you may be a Hindi faculty. But we generally say, children or students, let us start the journey. And especially, there are teachers who create different types of environment. I still remember one of my English teacher who taught daffodils. I think most of us have learned daffodils. Daffodils, through the delivery of the lesson, he made us to experience or feel that you have gone through that. You have gone through, you have the smell of the daffodil flower. You are walking through the maybe the shores of that particular, maybe the river. So each one of us are trying to provide that kind of experience. We are taking them through a journey of that particular subject. So if you're taking your students through a journey, I feel this particular picture would be very interesting for us. There are two wheels. One of the wheel is the teacher. The other wheel is the student. And we know if both the wheel move together synchronously, then only the cycle can move. It's not I am an expert. I have PhD, MPhil, whatever qualification I have, everything I have. But I may not be a good teacher in the classroom if I am not considering my students. I need to consider whether the students are able to follow me. Some of the students will be slow, very slow to follow me. Some may be following very fast. And some maybe, or majority, may be the average. Most of the time, we address the average group. In our classroom, there are reasons. So our attention is whether both the wheels can move together. And why this particular image is more interesting for me, you can see the actions, what the teacher and the student will mention, both are same. You plan, do, review, define. Whereas the do for the student is more. We make the students to do the things through which we take along with us. Who is the driver here? Teacher is the driver. Because you are the subject matter expert. You have experience. So you take the students along with you. Maybe I can say in the cycle, you keep the students in the back seats. We never keep them always in the back seat. Right? Certain time we ask them to drive. Maybe in UG and PG classes, we allow them to prepare certain content, come prepared and you teach. But still, the teacher is the leader. The teacher leads. In our formal structure, teacher has got a pivotal, very important, crucial role. And the teacher or the driver is handling lot of things in the classroom. What are the things we handle? You can see in the handle, there is a problem. What kind of problems we handle in everyday classroom? Lot of problems we handle. The problems what every student has got, it may be a health problem, it may be an attention problem, it may be an emotional problem, it may be the family problem, it may be a financial problem. We also have our own problem, right? Also, some of our students will have a problem in learning. Some students may not understand mathematics. Some students may not understand the grammar part of the language. Some students may not understand the technical meaning, technical words. You may remember Tare Zameen Par, right? So we have Tare Zameen Par in our classrooms. Some students may be there. They may have dyslexia. They may have attention deficit problems. So all these, we as teachers, we are handling, we are addressing. To what extent we are successful, we don't know. But we are handling. We try to support them emotionally. We try to support them through mentoring. We try to support them. Or sometimes we take the role of a counselor. We guide them. Also, we handle the learning gear and tool. Because you as a driver has got a target. You have got a milestone to achieve. What is that milestone? That milestone is nothing but your outcome-based curriculum. You have outcome-based curriculum. You have program outcome. You have course outcome. So our role is to achieve the outcome or equip the learner to achieve the outcome. So in order to reach that, you have to travel. So how can I increase the speed? Where can I increase the speed? Where should I reduce the speed? When should I break it? we decide that. We use different tools. Also, we handle different questions. Questions from the students. Questions, you also ask different kind of questions. And also, you handle evaluation. It's not only teaching as our responsibility, we have to assess or we have to evaluate whether they are able to achieve the outcome or not. So, we have to design different types of evaluation or assessment. We will discuss that in detail later, but we do handle evaluation or assessment. We manage the time. When I talk about managing the time, most of you will say that no, sir, we are not able to. Every semester, we have the problem of this time. 90 working days, UGC says, for a particular semester. How many of us are able to complete the syllabus? We may complete, but your satisfaction level would be less. Right? So every year we have that problem. Now the question is, how do we manage? We are managing. During pandemic, during COVID, even we have managed to complete the syllabus without students in our classroom. Students were at different parts of the country. They were connected online and we completed. Even that also we have managed very well. At that time, all of us were panic because none of us were trained to take the class online. But now, are you feeling comfortable? Now, we had self-learning. We have learned through maybe the videos, attending seminars, workshops, or from our students. We started learning different types of technology, and right now we feel comfortable. Right. Now, all together, the question is, what is our role? What role do we perform in today's classroom? In today's classroom, what is our role? What do you think? What is your role? आपका क्या रोल है क्लास में? आप एक गाइड हैं या मेंटर या कोच या
लर्नर है सर,
फैसिलिटेटर?
लर्नर है आज हम।
हम सिर्फ लर्नर हैं। लर्नर या को लर्नर?
Co-learner with the students.
Co-learner would be a better, right?
Yeah,
Because
co-learner with the
we
students.
are learning, but
Yeah.
since we have the subject mastery, we show them the path and they also come with some learning. We can learn something from them. So the friend, philosopher, guide, all these days are over, right? And most of us say we are facilitators. Now, whether the students are waiting for your facilitation, सर हमारे पास गूगल है, हमारे पास चैट जीपीटी है और हमारे पास स्वयं भी है, then why should I come and sit in your class? Right? So facilitators, they have different platforms, they have different technologies.
त्यांनी दिलं नाही त्यांनी यादीमध्ये नाव नाही तर गिरी सरांचं जे पुस्तक अटकलंय तेवढं तुम्ही घ्या ते.
Dhananjay sir, thank you. So basically the student, because if I sit in your class, you may ask questions, right? You will simply irritate me. I don't have any freedom when I am sitting in
पार्टिसिपेंट वेट कीजिए, सर का शायद यस सर ज्वाइन हो चुके।
Sorry, there was a network problem. I hope I am able to. You are able to hear me?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
yes, sir.
Let me share it. So we are here.
Sir, third slide. Cycle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sir.
this is.
Yeah.
So I was just mentioning about a book written by Ian Gilbert. He's a popular journalist, very famous journalist. The title is very interesting. Why do I need a teacher since I have got Google? Is the title. Why do I need a teacher since I have got Google? Even some of our students are thinking, why should I attend your class? I have a MOOC course in Swayam. Then why should I attend your class? I don't know. How many of you have experienced that question? Right? And this would be a challenge. If a course which I am offering, the similar course, if it is available in Swayam, the students will come and attend. Right. So that is a challenge before us. So what we should do? We should realign ourselves according to the need of the learner. We should be able to provide different types of facilitation so that the student feel the value of the teacher. And that is where we are moving. I don't know whether you are able to see this. It may be little clumsy because there are a lot of content, but I will tell you what are the different components of teaching learning process. And each one of us are taking care of these key components. The first component is the teacher. Do you think that the teacher is needed for learning? Do you need a teacher is needed for learning?
Not always.
Not always. It can be in any format.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are some of our students are self-learners. They can learn by themselves. If you provide the proper environment or if you provide appropriate materials, they can learn. But the learner is important. Learner is needed. What about the content? Content is a component, right? Roll number 15, your mic is on. Yeah, thank you. The content. What is your idea about the content? Is it important component?
Sir, the content is important, but it is more important is how the content is being delivered as per the nature of the students. What type of the students are sitting in my class?
Yes, we will come to that. But do you have any reflection about the content which is available? Yes, as Madam told, it's very important. How do you deliver? But still, maybe in the present scenario, have you ever done the content analysis of your syllabus? Then you will come to know this we all experienced when we were compelled to switch over from the conventional teaching to the online. Some of the content we were able to convert into online, like maybe in terms of a video or in terms of an animation or as an image. Some of the content we were not able to. Right? See, for example, a lab-based course or a descriptive test. I don't know whether you were able to test their descriptive ability, because most of the time we were focusing on objective type tests. So the kind of content right now should support the new media. We should decide the content such a way that they are appropriate to the new media. There is a scope of converting to the new media. Second, the content, I don't know whether, as Madam rightly pointed, it is more important how to deliver, but how do we decide how to deliver it?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Will you please explain again the content analysis that aspect?
That's what I'm coming, sir. That's what I'm coming. When you analyze the content, what do we do? For example, if I'm an economics teacher, okay, I have an outcome. I write an outcome. Students will be able to critically reflect on, this is the word I'm using, critically reflect on, let me say, a new economic policy. Okay, so this is the outcome. How do I decide to teach? How do I decide to deliver? Now,
Sir,
yes, ma'am.
Sir, very first, economics has been taught in commerce faculty as well as specialization economics also.
Okay.
So, do I am teaching for first year MA, first year BA, first year BCom at the micro level, at the students level to
Okay,
which
good. So the first point that you are thinking would be, who are my learners? Right. How much they know? Good. What would be the next? Suppose I feel I'm going to transact this for a first year UG group.
I need to know whether they have the ability to apply the basic terminology.
Good.
To understand the terminology very well. That is most needed thing at the UG level first.
Thank you, sir. That means whether they have a proper experience, whether they have the capacity to critically reflect or critically analyze, because that is the outcome I am expecting. Right? So, what kind of experience I have to provide? Do I need to teach them directly about the policy? One, I can teach. Second, do I need to show them one or two videos where experts were talking about the policy? Third, do I need to bring some newspaper article, essays written by some of these economists? Do I need to share them that and make them to discuss or debate? Do I need to give them the skill of how to analyze a policy? So you will think all the possibilities. Then the next one would be, what material I will use. That is more important. So I decide what delivery method. So in order to support my delivery method, what would be my material? What would be the material? Newspaper cutting, audio, video.
This all things can be material, but we have to chronologically and knowing the students have to arrange them.
They have to arrange. So you may give a newspaper article, you may give a notes prepared by you, you may provide them a audio or a documentary or a video.
But I need to know what exactly that document is having, and accordingly I have to arrange them in a sequence.
Correct. Also, any economic teacher will say, what is my outcome? They are able to critically analyze. What are they going to critically analyze? The economic policy. It is a policy I am going to transact. Hence, I need the primary source. Right? It's not they are not describing about the policy. They are going to analyze the policy, means the primary source, that policy document itself, I need to bring to the classroom. So this is one kind of analysis, sir. Second, suppose I have a grammar part. Suppose I have a laboratory experiment part. How do I decide? So as a teacher, while reading the curriculum, we understand what is this content, what is the nature of this content. That according to the nature of the content, you need to decide the method of delivery with appropriate material. This is the simplest way of analyzing. While analyzing, again, you will come to know there would be 10 to 15% of the content which can be learned by the students themselves. Why? Which may have a connection with what they have learned earlier. They can connect it with their previous knowledge. There may be 10 to 15% of the content which they can learn through their friends. We call it as their peer group. Through discussion, team or group project and all, they can learn. Remaining 70%, the teacher's role is there. Because they have never gone through that kind of content. And there the teacher need to either explain, demonstrate, or make them into group and provide them. So this is why the content analysis is more important, sir. You will come to know, okay, this particular content, which suppose that is falling into the first 10%, which the student can learn by himself or herself, give them a project or assignment. You need not teach. What we supposed to teach? The 70% which they cannot understand by themselves need to be taught by the teacher. So we can make some decisions based on the type of content. You need not teach all content. But what is happening, unfortunately, in higher education? The teachers will teach the first 40%. Maybe 20% they can learn by themselves, 20% through their group, that the teacher will teach. What they cannot learn by themselves will be given as the assignment. So what is going to happen? We know that. So the content is very, very critical. Then comes the learning environment. What is the environment we create? Is it a very fixed learning environment? Suppose I know the content which I have selected need a group discussion. But I won't allow them to change their seats. The group discussion will not happen. If they need to have a field experience, suppose they would like to know about the customer satisfaction, right? Obviously, they need to go to the field and get the data. But your institution is not allowing them to go out. So the environment is not supporting. Whether your physical, social, psychological environment, whether we are able to create such a way that it is supporting the learner. In a simple way, even your timetabling, this we used to tell in school. What is that? Afternoon, after lunch, first period, mathematics. Right? All of us can sleep. Or last period, most toughest subject. By that time, the students might have exhausted. So psychologically, they are not, that particular environment is not supporting them. So even the timetabling, the scheduling, right? Suppose you have some mathematics courses as well as some maybe art or humanities courses. So what do we say generally? Consecutive periods don't put all mathematics. First period can be mathematics, second period may be the language. Third period it can be again mathematics, so that there is a relaxation. Every subject has got its own nature. Then comes the teaching methods. We will, in detail, we will discuss the different teaching methods. Right? We will be so happy to lecture whatever we are doing, but our students are not happy. Even nowadays, the students started telling, sir, please avoid PowerPoint. Please avoid PowerPoint enough, because most of the time we may avoid the discussion with the students. Some of the students are very good in discussing. They bring lot of important ideas to the classroom. They can share their own idea. So the method is more important. Then comes the assessment and evaluation. In terms of assessment, please let us don't make our students into anxiety, trauma, stress. In terms of assessment, that's what we are doing. One teacher was sharing, sir, in terms of assessment, the teachers are becoming assassinators. We kill our students, right? Because the assessment, the kind of assessment what you use according to the content is more important. For everything, giving an assignment, not good. We'll have the discussion, especially what kind of assessment we can. Next one is very interesting. Feedback mechanism, which is an unavoidable component in teaching learning. Are we giving feedback to students? Yes, would be the answer. How do you give the feedback? What kind of feedback you give? Suppose I am your student. You have asked me to submit an assignment. I have submitted a written assignment. What feedback you will give to me? What kind of feedback generally you give to your students? Very good, excellent, need improvement, right? Maximum. Now, is it a good feedback? Suppose you are cooking something, you have cooked some dish, you have taken to the dining table. The guest started tasting and said, very good. Will you be happy? Most of us will be happy. But we should not be happy, actually. That very good is not actually very good. Because I am a guest. Suppose your own house member is tasting that. What they will tell? What is this? Arey, namak nahi hai, taste bhi nahi hai, right? Will you consider it as a feedback? It's not a feedback actually. It is only their opinion. A feedback, there may be physics faculties. Feedback is feeding back. Right? You feed back. What is you have to feed? You have something to take from that, then give it back. Right? I would say when I taste the dish what you are given, look, the dish is very good, but I think it is bit spicy. Right? It is bit spicy. Next time you can take care of it. This become a feedback. When somebody say very good, it's not a feedback at all. Because feedback mechanism is focusing on the improvement of the learner. It is not just to convince ourselves and themselves to say very good. There are 4 components in any feedback system. Remember, the first one, in any feedback, you try it. It will work. The first one, any feedback should have a positive stroke. Tell something good. That is a human tendency, right? When I do something, I'll ask, how was it? Excellent. Then we will put a full stop. What is the problem? That is a positive stroke. Very good. Excellent. If you stop there, and if a student is keep on getting this very good, very good, very good, the student feel that whatever I do is very good. And at any point of time, if somebody say, Arey kya, what is this? It's not good at all. I may not be able to cope up with that. Everywhere I am having success and a simple failure may not be able to cope up. So you have a positive stroke, comma. What is the next component? Have a diagnostic statement. You have allowed the student to perform or demonstrate the learning. I have demonstrated. Right? Suppose you are going to a doctor. You are going to consult a doctor. You went to the doctor. The doctor use all these instruments and do everything. And then the doctor says, okay, you go. Will you be happy? Doctor, tell me what is the problem, right? So the doctor will not say, tomorrow you are going to die. Doctor will say, as per my checking, even he may give the example. See, this is the temperature. This is your pressure, blood pressure level. So based on all this, that the doctor will give a diagnostic statement. Look, it seems you have these problems. Am I right? So the teacher, when the student performs something, the teacher also analyze it, checks it, and give the diagnostic statement. Look, your vocabulary seems to be not up to the mark. Diagnostic. Once you do the diagnosis, what is the next component? The doctor gives you the diagnostic statement. Look, you supposed to have maybe some problem in your or you might have gone with the temperature. Look, this temperature may be because you may have a throat infection. This is the diagnostic statement. What is next?
Remedial.
Thank you,
Focus
ma'am.
on focus
Yes.
on focus on improvement
Remediation.
or
Doctor would
focus.
say, okay, now I'll give 2 medicines for 2 days. You take it. Also, you gargle with salt water and maybe turmeric for 2 days. Don't eat these what do you call very cold items and all, right? And if possible, take sound rest. This is the remediation. Are we giving this kind of remediation to our students? Your vocabulary seems to be not appropriate. What remediation I would give? Look, do one thing. Tomorrow or tomorrow onwards for next 1 week, you read some paper or a particular newspaper. Understand some new words. Get the meaning using a dictionary. Frame some sentence using that. Is that enough? Positive stroke? Diagnostic statement? Remediation? Is that enough? What next? What would be the last component? You can connect it with the doctor. You'll get it.
Reassessment, sir.
Reassessment, can we have a good term? Reassessment, or what generally they say?
Next visit.
Next visit is actually, what is that?
Feedback.
No, it's not feedback. They used
Focus.
to say, okay. Yes, ma'am, you'll get it.
Follow.
Fo-
Multiple.
Thank
Follow
you, sir. Thank you. There you are. Follow up.
Follow.
Right. You come for a follow-up checkup. Now, do we need to follow up in the student assessment? I have told the
Yes.
student, I have given a remediation. Look, you read, understand some of the words, find out the meaning. So tomorrow when I meet the student, informally I can ask, how many words you got today? So if you ask like that, maybe 2 or 3 days, the student will feel that, oh, my teacher is so sincere. So slowly they will improve. So please remember these 4 components for a feedback mechanism. It can be a written feedback or it can be an oral feedback. Then comes the 8th component, technology and tools. Here, technology and tools, I won't compel anyone that you have to use technology only. No. Technology is only a tool like any other tool. Where you feel you are not able to convince the learner, that is the best word. You are not able to convince the learner, the subject matter, maybe they are not able to understand. Then I may bring a video, or I may bring an animation, or I may bring an interactive content. So there are different technology available. If the content and your method, this is one complaint most of the teachers say, sir, when I use technology, I'm not able to use my method of teaching. It is not very suitable to my method of teaching. I would say you should do the reverse, because my content is more important and then my method. And you look at, is there any technology that support the content and method? You use that. It's not that tomorrow nobody will say that, okay, tomorrow you have to use robots in your classroom, robotics, machine learning. I would say even if you use a simple animation, that is fine. It is not what technology you are using. It is that what can we deliver through that particular technology? How best we can deliver through that technology is more important. Then you have learning outcome as well as motivation. Are our students motivated in our classroom? What do you feel? Nowadays, are the students showing motivation? Are they getting engaged? Most of the higher education faculties, like these kind of sessions, I used to get, no, sir, how do we motivate them? That itself is a toughest job, right? They always say, no, I have ChatGPT or I have Gemini, I can get everything. I will submit all your assignments. I am not finding something, aha, oh, some wow. Oh, wow, this is what I have learned. None of our students are feeling that. Right? Hence, they are not participating. Mechanically, they will complete, but that wholehearted involvement is not there. For which,
Sir,
what can we do?
they have external motivations, but internal motivations we lack.
Thank
Sir.
you, ma'am. They are not intrinsically motivated.
Ah,
Right? They are extrinsically motivated. They are motivated what kind of job they can get, what rank they can get, what prize they can get, but they are not bothered about what am I learning? Am I learning in deep, in the depth? When you do the interview, maybe for PG admission, or maybe at the research level, you'll come to know the student may be a record holder, rank holder. But if you ask some basic fundamental question, the student may not be able to answer. So the clarity of the subject, the deeper understanding of the subject is more important.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
For the extrinsic motivation, we have ample amount of sources. I mean,
correct.
So, but something that I can do for the intrinsic motivation is some role as a teacher I can play.
Yes, sir. Yes, that is where we are coming. Yes, we do have the role to make them intrinsically motivated. For example, see, are you, any one of you, are you really intrinsically motivated to attend this program or extrinsically motivated?
Both, sir. Both.
Generally, people are extrinsically motivated because as the part of my CAS, I need to complete one orientation or one refresher.
But sir, it depends on person to person.
Correct, ma'am. I'm not generalizing. But even there would be people, I have seen people who are searching for the topic, the title of the orientation. Okay, I love to do that. Yes. So there are some people who are intrinsically motivated who will be finding engaged. Those who feel, okay, I need only this. This is a kind of maybe an assignment to be completed. We have the similar kind of students. Now, how do we handle it? One of the technique, we are going to discuss that only to about whatever we are going to discuss is only for that. How do we motivate them? How do we sensitize them? That would be a better word. Nowadays, the student used to ask, why should I learn? Then we say, no, it is there in the syllabus. Sorry, I'm not bothered. Who told to prepare that kind of syllabus? Right? So the thing is that whatever is the syllabus content, we try to sensitize the students the importance of learning. That is where some of these applied disciplines, they find it easy because they can see the application. Whereas some of the fundamental subjects, The student sees, sir, will I get a job like this? What can I do with this kind of information? What do I know? So our role is, how do we sensitize the learner about the importance? For which we have techniques we will discuss one by one. So I hope this core component itself gives us some idea. Adding to these 10 core components, this is a very famous content which is called Gagne's 9 events of instruction. Robert F. Gagne, a psychologist, who discussed it was long back, almost in 1960s, he has discussed this. What did he discuss? In any classroom, there are 9 events happening. What is the first event? Gain the attention of the learner. Are we able to gain the attention of the learner? We enter into the classroom. Good morning, students. Good morning. We will start. Are we gaining attention? Are we making sure that they are ready? Nowadays, when we are making the mobile phone call, what do we ask actually? Suppose you are calling an unknown person. Suppose I am calling to sir, 62, right? I don't know his name. Suppose I got the number. I want to connect with him. So what I will do, I will connect to him. The first thing I would say, hello, sir. The next sentence would be, is it a good time to talk? Are you free for a moment? Can I have 2 minutes? With the friends, we don't have this. With the friends, it is your responsibility, you have to listen. But if there is no friendship, then, because in the friendship, you have a mutual responsibility. Whereas here, no, I don't know who is he. So I don't know in what jobs or in what task he may be involved. So I'll make sure that he is ready to listen me, because for me, the message is more important. What am I going to convey is more important. Shall we try this in our classroom? Don't ask the students, are you free for 45 minutes? It's not like that. Create a rapport. By the presence of the teacher itself, the student feels that, oh, today there is something very interesting to learn. Or we say, establish the readiness of the learner. How do you start a class? How do you start a class? Okay, students, what did we learn yesterday? From there, we will start. Is it a good strategy?
No.
I'll give an example which you can relate. There is a beautiful book written by a couple, Bruce Joyce and Marsha Wales.
Models
Right.
of teaching.
Yes, models of teaching. It's a very interesting book. Every teacher should have gone through that. Very, very interesting. Where these authors are giving some scenarios, some situations.
Kindly repeat the name of the book, sir.
Models of teaching, Bruce Joyce and Marsha Wales.
लोखंडे अनिशा बोलते का
Bruce Joyce and Marsha Wales.
बोलतोय तू सेकंड इयरला ऍडमिशन नाही घेतला
So one of the situation, the authors, what they say, a teacher is entering into the class. Students were playing football.
मुंबईला का मग कोणाला पाठवले
Roll number, yes. Students were playing football. Okay. Now, if you are the teacher, what will we do? If we are the teacher, what will we do? We directly enter. We will tap on the desk. Silence. Stop. Listen to me. Do you think that they are going to listen to your class? The same scenario would be there. Now, the authors say what the teacher has done. Teacher entered into the class. Teacher involved in the play. Teacher also played along with them for 2-3 minutes. And he just took the ball and said that time up. Time up. Now, students, please sit. Let us have our class. Which one would be better, whether the first one or the second one?
Naturally, second one.
Actually, second one, right? Why? Because in the minds of the students, the game is over. They have finished that game so that I am ready for the next task. Whereas when I am compelling them, no, stop it. Now listen. You may start your class, but the students may have the game or the kind of discussion what they were having, they will have in their mind. They will never be involved in what you are doing. So this is what gained the attention of the learner. Can you give something very interesting to them? They feel that, okay, there is some problem to be solved. That's why some of the teachers use the cases, case studies to begin, scenarios to begin, some issues you may present, so that the student feel that, okay, there is something to be learned. We call it as sensitizing the content. Once they find there is something which I have to do, you can improve the engagement of the learner by informing the objectives or what outcomes you are going to achieve. What is the purpose of today's class? What are we going to? It's not what do you cover. Some teachers say that today we are going to cover 15 pages of your textbook. No. Today there is some agenda. There is a purpose for what we are going to do. Inform the purpose. That is not sharing. Third, supposed to happen in any classroom, stimulate recall of prior learning. Because I know I am going to present a new content. In order to understand that, they should have a prerequisite. Right? Prerequisite. Now, most of us have a blame game. What do we say? Sir, they are in second year UG. First year UG, they have not learned anything. I don't know what that particular teacher has taught. Sorry, we don't have a scope for that blame game. As a teacher, it is my duty to make them convince. So whatever there is a lack in previous knowledge, I have to support. Then only you present the content. You make sure they are sensitized. You have shared the purpose of today's class. And also you checked what are all needed for today's class. Ingredients. Then you present the content. That presentation of the content can be in different way. Like what you call the method of teaching. It can be in variety of ways. But at those times, what you have to give, provide the guidance. What is the guidance? What is the sequence you have to follow? In what way they can understand? Is there any analogy that they can think of? Is there any some real life examples that they can connect with? Is there something where you have an application? These kind of guidances you can provide. Then the seventh one, elicit performance. If you have a 1 hour, you don't keep on talking for 1 hour. Right? In between, you may have a question answer session, or you may have a worksheets to be completed. You may ask the students to, maybe 1 or 2 students, okay, you please recall what will we complete. Right? A small review may happen. Seventh component is providing feedback. Eighth is assessing the performance. And the ninth one, enhance retention and transfer. Most of the classes, these three would be absent. When you elicit the performance of the learner, you provide the feedback, which can be of very simple task. Assess the performance and also give them a direction. You have learned this much today, and how is it going to get connected with the next class? Or where can you find the application? Long back, Robert Gagne told. So the question what sir asked can have one of the answer if you follow these 9 components or 9 events in your instruction, it will become meaningful. It's going to become meaningful. Rather, having a monotonous, one-way communication. Having said all these, what is learning? It's a question, right? What is learning? How do we understand whether the student learned or not?
If they
Learning.
could actually,
Yes, sir.
I thought you are asking question. I was trying to answer.
Please, sir. There is no question answer session.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this because it's a self question, right? When you want to learn something. So what is learning? We used to ask a question. Yes, sir, please.
We can say the student learn if he or she started applying it to the simple questions.
So one of the demonstrable behavior from the learner is whether they are able to apply. But there is a little challenge whether the student is getting opportunity to apply. Right.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, learning can also be defined or can be also said as removing the fear from the minds.
Yes, it's a kind of learning.
Like for example, mathematics. Like earlier, a student or a learner may find it difficult once he or she removes the fear, the same learner can solve the whole exercise.
Correct.
Fear.
Correct. Showing the path, clearing the fear, right? And as sir told, sir, this is one of the important component. When a student is able to apply, we can understand how much that particular student have learned. But unfortunately, in our system, there were not enough opportunity for the students to apply. That is where UGC came with a mandatory internship. How this particular internship is going to help our students? Deliberately, they get opportunity either to work with the field or to the maybe the laboratory. What they have learned, they can try to apply. It's a good. Yes, sir, please.
Application of learn thing. It was I was thinking at very micro level of teaching. Like I taught a one unit or one aspect of the unit from the unit, but internship is something that is being applied knowledge. The student is applying knowledge after certain months of the learning or years of the learning. So both ways are, I think, important. The micro way, like he started applying, that is very micro.
You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. That is where we say we have a continuous assessment, right?
Sir, learning. Yeah, sir. Learning. We can also give the examples before pre-COVID. Before COVID, we used to have the classroom lectures, and COVID has taught us learning online mode.
Correct.
Application of Zoom,
Yes.
Google, and now we are used to. And today's outcome that we are attending the refresher course through online mode.
And even we are so confident to attend or even deliver the classes through these kind of modes. Right. So learning is basically the alteration of the behavior as a result of individual experience. You try to adjust your behavior. This is what one of the important definition or maybe explanation. And when a organism, when an individual can perceive and change its behavior, it is said to learn. This is what an old form of a definition kind of thing or experience. Through experiences, we learn. Like maybe a simple example, what you have heard or we have used. A baby at the crawling stage, crawling, and reaching near to a lighted candle, touching on the flame, right? Suddenly, the student will, the kid will remove the hand. Next time, if there is a burning candle, the kid will not go that side because I have already experienced a burning.
So it is have-thrown experiment.
Yes. So the learning can happen through all this. The array of learned behavior, we have lot of learned behavior through discrimination. We discriminated what is good and what is bad, what is living, what is not living, right? And through habituation, through habits. So that is where, as sir was telling, no, giving simple problems to solve. We used to give practicing, right? Why are we making them to practice? It should become a habit. Then concept formation. Then you have perceptual learning. Through perception, you provide the students to come up with their own perception and you clarify them. Then you have psychomotor learning through doing, right? Having, doing, or you remember, how did you master your mobile? Right?
Using.
It was a psychomotor learning, trial and error.
Trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error, right? So these are all some of the array of learned behavior. And also, we learn, our students learn through association. They try to connect with whatever real life example they have, or whatever maybe. That is why there are some psychology teachers, they teach using movie, films. Management teachers may be there. They use Chak De India for motivation, right? So because they are very much interested towards these kind of movies. But we never try to make our lesson as a movie. That is a problem, right? Have you ever cried or laughed by reading a book? Especially a textbook, you remember? We still remember Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. All of us, most of us can sing it without any mistake. But if I ask a PG content, which you have taught maybe 2 years back or even 1 year back, there may be a lot of mistakes. What is the problem?
That was activity-based learning, sir. So we remember those things.
Ma'am, I'll come to that. How many of you remember maybe a movie, a very super hit movie, which is of your so favorite? You may remember everything in that movie. The dialogues. Whereas from a textbook, you might have cried by watching a movie, you might have laughed, you might have hit the neighboring person. You will forget about yourself. You will be completely immersed in that. Whereas when it comes to education, teaching, learning, sorry, we are all spectators. That's why I used to tell, we never had a condition or a thinking of examination when you watch a movie. There is no examination after the movie. So I am completely free. Whereas when you take a particular unit, what the student is thinking, how many 10-mark question will come? How many 4-mark question you will have? How many 1-mark question? Right? So somewhere we are conditioned with the examination. We are preparing only for the examination. That is the difference in music, performing arts. Some of the discipline, they enjoy like anything, or even social work, I'll tell you. Social work, they enjoy the field work. Some of the field-based studies. Why? Because there is no condition about the examination. I am completely involved. And that involvement, if we can bring to the classroom, your learning would be perfect.
So then
that
we have to
conditioning needs
change.
to be removed.
So yeah, so then we have to change or transform the mindset.
Ma'am, no need to transform and all. You start transforming. You start providing different type of situations wherein they feel involved, they learn it. That itself is enough. Then students learn a lot through imitation. Lot of things can be learned, imitation. Insight. Through insight, for which they need to get exposed. To get the insight, you need to have a lot of experiences. Then comes imprinting. This one we can take care. Imprinting means some of the thing will be like printed, a stamp printed in our brain. Some of the incidents you may still remember without any mistake. Right? So these are all some of the way our students are learning. And coming to the adults, because we are all dealing with the adults also, right? PG students or even UG students are early adults. Adults have lot of problems. Adults, mostly they lack of time. Like almost all 65 here, we don't have proper time. We are managing, right? We have set aside everything and we are finding the time, but actually we have lack of time. Self-doubt, especially for teachers. If you go to the doctor, if the doctor say this is the medicine you can, sir, will this medicine alone is enough? Most of the teachers keep on asking questions. I have seen a doctor was telling, sir, sorry, I have only one pray. I should not get a teacher to treat. They keep on asking. The self-doubt is an adult behavior. Neuroplasticity. Most of us do complain. No. I'm almost 50. I cannot learn something new because my fingers it may not be flexible. That is wrong. Actually, you don't have a neuroplasticity. You can become elastic if there is an attitude. Focusing. Adults are really focusing on what should be learned. And they would like to see the big picture. And adults have a purpose. I will put it in a different way. The purpose. Right now, out of the entire group, you people are waiting. Sir, can you give something which I can take? My takeaway. You talk maybe 6 hours. We don't have a problem. Because being the part of the program, we are able to sit. But what is in it for me? Adults are very selective. Very selective. What is in it for me, which I can use? And please remember, our students are adults. Are we considering this adulthood of our learners? If you are considering the adulthood, then consider these 5 points. What are they? Self-concept of the learner. The adult learners, they feel they are independent. They would like to find their own way. They want to manage their own learning. They can take their own decision. Who are you to tell? Who are you to suggest? That is why rather guide, we have mentorship. You mentor them. You don't dictate them, you have to do this. We are supporting the self-concept. Experience. Adults learn better through experiences. So whatever kind of experience you can provide, that would be better. Then the readiness is more important. Unless and until the adult is ready, you cannot do anything. Are you ready? Is a question we may have to ask every time. That is why even UGC suggests to have orientation programs or induction program for the freshers. Make them ready for that particular program.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
At the beginning also you talked about experience in the
Yes.
learning.
Yes.
And in adult cases also, the adult
Yes.
learner case also you talked about experience.
Yes.
Will you elaborate more, because exact with the academic example.
Yeah. Sir,
with the
experience, I would say, see, suppose I want to explain acidity and basicity. I can teach them, maybe taking the example of pH value. I can show them, I can bring the litmus paper, or maybe faster reaction, slow reaction. But if I give them the materials, give them the procedure, ask them to do by themselves and observe it and note down, then categorize, which is a slow reaction, which is a faster. This is a kind of first-hand experience. Okay. Now, suppose I am a communication faculty. I can tell them what are all the different components of a better communication. Rather, what I do, I will give every student 1 minute presentation. I can give the feedback. Look, your vocabulary is not good. Your body language is not good. What I do, I record it. I show them the video full. First, I'll show them. Second, I'll show them without voice. I'll mute the voice. First, I'll show the entire video. Second, I'll show muted video. Ask them, you identify whether your communication and body language was supportive. This is the kind of experience. None of us, I have experienced, that's why I'm telling. Most of us never experienced how am I presenting this side. In what way I'm using my gestures, body movement and all. We have never seen. But the student may find it, they are contradicting. Like some of our compares. So experience anything, sir. See, a student is having a doubt. Doubt in a generalization. I'll take a simple example. If you take any triangle, okay, if you add the angle, you will get 180 degree. Now a student is coming with a doubt, sir. If there is a triangle which is as big as this building, will it be true? What we will say? Yes, it should be true because it is mathematics. Sorry, I am not convinced. As a student, I feel if the size of the angle, if the size of the triangle increases, the angle size also may increase. Therefore, it may go beyond 180. There is nothing wrong, right? How will we? What kind of experience I can give?
On paper, two different triangles I can draw, and there I can show.
Sir, with only two triangles, can we generalize? Because
No.
we teachers know that in order to generalize, you need to have continuous observation.
But at least we can convince him that increasing the size of triangle does not change the angle between them.
What I can do, one experience, I can take the students to the playground, have a big rope, ask them to construct the biggest triangle, measure it. Or I may use an application, maybe like a GeoGebra or any Sketchpad, MATLAB kind of application. I will construct the triangle, then I will vary the values where they can see 180s. So there are techniques. These are all the experiences. Most of the time we are giving only auditory experience when we are keep on talking. Then the orientation and motivation.
I mean, we can say that with the experience, they can filter out their doubts.
Yes. Yes.
For that experience is required.
Yes. Because most of the time, sir, the students are not encouraged to come up with the doubts. In higher education, you may be putting all efforts. You may allow the students, okay, you ask question, but they may not ask because they never got the opportunity in their school. All on a sudden, they cannot ask a question because they have a doubt whether this is a question. One. Second, how did my teacher respond to that? Right?
Sir, sorry to say, but if the student asks the doubt or the question, the answer from the teachers, what they receive is that when I was teaching, were you sleeping? What you are doing? So because of this fear, they don't ask the question.
Thank you. That is why most of them are reluctant to ask. They may have doubts. But they are reluctant. So if you want to understand further about the kind of learning and the factors, there are a lot of learning theories. My intention is not to teach all this, but this particular image, maybe I'll share this PowerPoint with sir. He will share with you. You can get this image. There are around 32 different concepts or theories related to learning. It would be worth reading some of this. And there are certain approaches to teaching. So we will just go through one or two approaches, then we will go for a break, then we'll come back. There is something called cognitivism. Cognitivism is basically, we know what is cognition. Cognition is really thinking. So one approach is talking about cognitivism. Cognitivism is nothing but you focus more on your brain capacity. Rote memorization, basically. Right? You might have heard a phrase, tabula rasa. Have you heard that? When we were in school, what the teacher used to do, the teacher will come and say that you don't know anything, I only know everything, I will teach you. The teachers were considering that the students who are sitting in my class, they don't know anything. So whatever they are going to know is through me. The tabula rasa is the concept what the student's brain or mind is like a clean slate. Teachers can write anything on that. Even a student, this is a common joke we used to tell. Long back, a daughter was reading at home 2 plus 2, 5, 2 plus 2, 5, 2 plus 2, 5. Now the parents ask what? 2 plus 2, 5. It should be 4. Then the student will tell, no, you don't know. Please stop. This is what my teacher told. There was a time where we know that teachers were considered as the knowledge powerhouse. Only teacher knows everything. But now it's not the case. Even real-time checking is happening inside the classroom. What you talk will be checked. They may ask with ChatGPT whether this is correct or not. Right. So cognitivism is basically was focusing on brain so that you can dump everything. It is a kind of dumping everything. Your active involvement and all not needed. You just by heart. You just by heart, and there are different methods. So one approach was cognitivism. Another was connectivism. Connectivism is talking about you can have the networking. Whatever you learn, you can have connections. You can establish connections. Like this would roll number 10. Your mic is on. Yeah. Connectivism is a kind of approach which can work well even in multidisciplinary, where students can connect whatever they are learning. Right now, what is the problem? What I teach, like what madam was telling, I am teaching economics in commerce. Right? And I would say, don't bring any economics examples here. This is commerce. So we will strictly talk about the commerce economics. Right? Whereas in my economics, in pure economics, we will talk about only microeconomics or macroeconomics. No, sorry. Our borders are getting diluted. Right? And that would be best. Even in statistics. A statistics teacher may take only mathematical statistics. They may not bring any other statistics. Right? So if the student is allowed to bring the connections, okay, I have a statistics here. I have a statistics in research. I have statistics in psychology. So why can't I connect? There would be better learning. Then you have connectionism. Connectionism is again bit different, which talks about the repeated association. In connectivism was talking about creating the network. Creating the network, please remember that, creating a network, whereas connectionism, you need not get confused, it is the similar approach, but you go for repeated association. Means, I hope you are aware of what is an algorithm or what is how a large language model works. You may be knowing, right? Gen AI, how a large language model work, or how actually this ChatGPT gives you answer. It has trained a large number of data, and out of all these trained data, they take up the best connected one, associated one. Connectionism is supporting that. And then you have constructionism. Constructionism, now you may be using this learning, you may be familiar with Moodle, learning management system. Yes. Moodle advocates suggest social constructionism. We construct together. This can go with the design thinking also. You might have heard design thinking, right? Constructionism. But our focus is not this. So even there is something called behaviorism. The learning definition, what I told you may remember, it is the behavior modification. And what is the behavior? It is basically stimulus response related. So this would be a comparison, and maybe we will stop at this point because it is not our focus discussing all this. Our focus would be learner-centric approach. So right now it's 4:30. We'll be back by 4:45.
Maybe 10 minutes only. 5
Yeah,
to
I
10
don't
minutes.
know what is your schedule. You just tell me. Okay, we will be back by 4:30. Sorry, 4:40.
Yes, sir. 10
Yeah.
minutes only. Sir.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Okay, we'll have 10 minutes break and we'll be back. Shall we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Sir,
you might have heard this particular term, learner-centric approach.
excuse
And
me,
most
sir.
of us are trying to follow this learner-centric. Even the UGC guidelines are also suggesting, new education policy 2020 is also suggesting to become learner-centric. Now, what is learner-centric? It is nothing but the learner is at the center. Learner is the core. That is where in the learner-centric approach only we suggest facilitation, mentoring, coaching. You are actually setting the ground, setting the environment for the learner so that they can learn by themselves. You might have heard something called learn how to learn, learning to learn. NEP also emphasizes that, learning to learn. What is that? Most of us are teaching the students the content. you should learn the content. Rather, what we supposed to do, we supposed to give them experiences, make them convinced how to learn a particular content, so that if they come across similar content, they can apply that particular strategy. I'll give a simple analogy, or this you may be familiar, the Chinese proverb. What is that? If you meet a person who is hungry, don't feed him. Rather, you teach him how to fish. If you meet a person who is hungry, don't feed him directly, teach him how to fish. The same thing we supposed to apply in our classroom. If you are creating more teacher dependency, then to learn anything, the students need a teacher. Whereas, if you make the learner equipped how to learn, see for example, a kind of problem solving. A kind of problem solving, if you develop the kind of problem solving among the learner, when they come across maybe different types of problem, at least they will attempt to solve it. We can reduce our role. So what are all the key principles for this learner-centric approach? Active engagement. If you design certain activity wherein it has to be learner-centric, make sure the learners are actively engaging. If there is any activity where there is less engagement, make sure that it is becoming more teacher-centric. Remember, so whenever you have more active participation of the learner, then it is learner-centric. Personalized learning paths. If you bring learner-centric, you can support the learner to decide their own learning path. Very simple way. They can decide how to learn, when to learn, what kind of material they have to use. This is what the advantage of learner-centricness. Another is self-regulated learning. The student, the learner, will be able to regulate their learning. What is the meaning? The learner is able to understand, why am I not able to learn? Which content I can learn easy? Which content I need to spend more time? Now you may say, no sir, our students are not in that habit. Then do one thing. If you are using learning management system, Moodle as a learning management system, you might have come across a component called learning analytics. Learning analytics, where you will get an idea how much time a particular student is spending in a particular activity or resource. Because in a regular classroom, we teach and go. Almost all the students are spending the same time. Whereas when you have something online, I share a video, maybe in WhatsApp. And after that, I ask them, okay, you go through the video, come prepared next classroom, we will have some test. So after the test, you ask with the student, how many times you have viewed the video repeatedly? One student may say, sir, I have just seen for once. The other students say, no sir, 3-4 times I have gone through, I was not able to get the idea. These two are your points. One student was able to learn with a single viewing. Another student need to spend more time. Why? Maybe because of the explanation in the content. Maybe because it is a video. So the teacher gets input. Then collaborative knowledge construction is another uniqueness of learner-centric approach. Now, what kind of knowledge construction is happening in our classroom? Teacher present either data or information or knowledge. Students receive it, they process it and present it back in the examination. Is there any construction happening? Who construct the knowledge here? For example, you have certain data, maybe the last 6 months stock, for example. A commerce teacher or a business teacher would like to talk about the trend. Now, shall I give all 4 months data to the students, ask them to analyze, come up with their conclusion, or I will analyze as a teacher, I derive the conclusion and present to the students? Which one would be better? First one would be better, where the students are involved, they can understand what kind of data, how actually it varies, then what would be the trend? They are involving. Now you may feel, sir, some of our students may not be able to do it individually. Then what we will do? We will group some students. There are different types of grouping possible. We group them in the group. The advantage is even the slow learner may participate. Even the person who is very shy, who is not ready to answer your question, may involve. And you can use authentic assessment. We'll have little more clarity when we go ahead.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in the beginning, for the learner-centric thing, you started with that student on themselves can decide how to learn and when to learn.
Yes.
I mean, for this, the prerequisite is that they are intrinsically motivated. Only then this is possible, or in any case this is possible.
In any case, it is possible, sir. In any that is where the
ideal. I feel this is very ideal. Sometimes it is not possible for students. I mean, students they themselves do not feel like learn.
Correct. What I want to clear here, this is what learner-centric approach. Okay. Now we will think of how is it applicable or what is the feasibility in our classroom.
Okay.
You are bringing one of the challenge. Sir, most of our students are not intrinsically motivated. If they are not intrinsically motivated, whether this will be applicable?
That is my question.
That is your question. Yes, sir. Yes. We'll come to that. We still are moving ahead. Now, we have one more point. What is that? It's now what happened, having a learner-centric approach, most of the time, students feel that, okay, teachers are showing some video, they are giving lot of activities. So it's only activity. We are not learning something. Even some teachers feel that. Sir, if we keep on giving group discussion, field-based activity or debate or group investigation, group inquiry and all this activity will happen. But what about the content that they are learning? Right. So that is where we will add one more point called cognitive development approach. Cognitive development approach where you emphasize how learner acquire, process, store, and retrieve information. Even during the activity, are they able to collect or acquire necessary information? They are able to process it and store appropriately so that there is a retrieval possible.
Just a minute, sir.
Yes.
If I don't ask this now, I will not get what I am searching for. sir, I'm teaching UG students and PG students.
Yes.
Is it applicable to these students also, or this should happen in earlier classes like +2 or maybe 10th?
Sir, if it happens earlier classes, it is well and good. They may be able to practice it properly, even when they come to higher level. Even this is possible even at UG level, PG level. Only thing, I'll come to that point. Only thing, in the earlier years, they are all kids. Okay, but when it comes to UG and PG, they are more of adults. So the kind of the activities that or experiences that you are providing should be an adult supportive. Like what I was telling, experience based. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. So what this cognitive development approach says, the learning process or this approach should consider the sequentiality and structuredness of learning. Sequential and structured learning. Some of our students are very good in this. They need structure, they need sequence. They'll say, sir, what is the first point? What is the second point? Are they related? Sometimes you may present it as a mind map. You may present it as an algorithm. You may present it as a, or even students started presenting as a flow chart. They love to follow sequence. So they are all very good in following this particular approach. Structured, sequential, who need a scaffolding. What is scaffolding? You need to support. What kind of support? The support is for their zone of proximal development. You need not bother. These are all psychological terms, theoretical terms. I'll make it very simple. But you should be familiar with some of this stuff. Active mental processing and metacognitive awareness. These are the three where they need some support from the teacher. Now your question is whether it will work in higher education. Let me tell you, in lower classes, they have learned addition. Okay, addition. Now I am asking you a simple question. What is 7 plus 7? You will answer it as 14. Now I am asking 7 pen plus 7 pencil. Sorry, 7 pen plus 7 pen. It's simple, sir. It is 14 pens. Now I ask 7 pen plus 7 pencil. Most of us say, sir, it's not possible to add. Right? Why? Because our mathematics learning was like this. All should be common. Now, some of the student may say, no, sir, it's possible. Wait. 7 pen plus 7 pencil, na? They are 14 writing instruments. 14 writing instruments. So, what is the difference? If the first student was not able to process, he was adamant or he was conditioned, only this is possible. Second student, there is an active mental processing. Oh, my teacher told 7 plus 7, 14, 7 pen plus 7 pen, 14 pens, means there should be a common base. The logic is, in order to have the addition, common base should be there. So why can't I find out the common base between pen and pencil? They fall into writing instrument, hence it is possible. So this kind of logic development or this kind of even falsification, proving it is as a false, because most of the time our learning focuses on proof, hence the proof, right? Prove that, show that. So we come to, we reach the answer. Even a student, if possible, if a student is able to come with a falsity, saying that, sir, this is false. If the student is able to explain with the reason, that is a learning. Every time it's not false, right? Even in research, we say, you collect the data, you analyze the data, maybe quantitatively, and you say, this is what I have seen. Is that enough? Is that enough? Why that particular result. That is the explanation what a researcher need to develop. Why there is a finding like this? Anyone can get a, maybe suppose you are doing a t-test or f-test, you will get a number. Statistical significant or not, you will say. You will say either accepted, yeah, accept or rejected or not rejected, you would say. The hypothesis is either rejected or not rejected. But what made that rejection or not rejection? What is the sociological, social, economical, psychological reason for that? That is missing. So we need to focus that, for which the student need to have even the cognitive development approach. They should be able to process. So what we will do, we will mix these together. Learner-centric cognitive development approach. Right? So what is that? Autonomy and choice is a learner-centric focus. Autonomy and choice. The students need to have an autonomy. We would like to have the choice. But most of the time, we teachers may not be able to provide the choice because we don't have the time. Right? So we just stick on to, because of the time constraint and all, we just stick on to. But if you can provide, that is where I feel in terms of multidisciplinary teaching, we can get it. Our timetable, our workload, all these need to become flexible. Then only this will work. Otherwise, like what sir is telling, sir, we have this much syllabus which we have to complete. So there should be a rethinking on the timing. What is a structured cognitive progression can be possible. And you can just see the third column. Forget about first two column. Co-design learning path with scaffolding. You sit with the student, understand the student, allow the student to design their own learning path. Which should I learn first? What should I learn next? What should I learn next? The problem here is, sir, if there are 40 students, how can we do that? Whether the student will be able to design by themselves. This is a real challenging situation. Because as like sir was mentioning, sir, first of all, they are not motivated at all. How do I motivate? That is where we are coming to the next point. See, for example, include self and peer assessment. This you can try. Include peer assessment and self-assessment. Suppose the student is doing some task or doing some assignment. What actually you can do? You can allow the student to assess it. Okay, you do first assessment. Second assessment, what you can do? Let maybe 3 or 4 of his or her classmates. Let them do it. Now, for every assessment, it's not possible. But what I would suggest, in a semester, have at least one task for peer assessment and self-assessment, because it will take time to change. Like what madam was telling, changing the mindset. It will take a little more time, especially in higher education. So what you can do, familiarize the students about self-assessment. How to do the self-assessment. Suppose the second assignment, when they are submitting, you circulate those assignments among the other students. One round circulate, ask the other student, okay, you evaluate, you assess it. Second round, you send it. Now give it to the particular student who submitted. Ask the student, you check how did they assess. There are 2 different assessments. How did they assess? Can you get some details from that? And you analyze what can be improved. So
sir, in my experience, this peer and self-assessment go hand in hand. I mean, because ego issues within the students. Like if I ask other students to assess their peer, no, he will start defending his writings or his assessment.
Correct. So, no, it can go hand in hand, sir. Yes. First, they can. Now, how can we support as a teacher? Because it's not blindly we say that, okay, you first assess, then others will assess. We need to prepare certain protocol. or certain what you call rubric.
Rubrics.
Yeah, or assessment standards.
Yes.
Okay, so you prepare that, share to them. Based on this, you assess. Then there would be little more focused assessment. Now, coming to constructivism. So I hope by right now you were able to understand there are different methods, different approaches in teaching. Now, what can we do? Especially maybe embracing constructivist teaching and learning. Basically, when you talk about constructivism, some of the ideas what we have already covered would come. You can connect it easily. Constructivism is a paradigm shift. What is the paradigm shift? I was telling the behaviorism, the old school of education, were talking about, I will teach you, I know everything, and you should obey me. Because most of us have learned some of the subjects because of obedience. Because of the obedience, we were very obedient to the teachers. So because of the fear, what madam was mentioning, because of the fear about the teacher, we were learning. If there is a strict teacher, sometimes we might have learned, or some of us might have developed a hatredness towards that subject also. That is also there. So the paradigm shift was when people like Piaget or Vygotsky or John Dewey, you need not bother these names, but when they have discussed, when they have thought, see how one can direct somebody else's behavior. It's not possible. One. Second, even our students are exposed to different experiences. They too have their own experiences. Earlier, we never had an opportunity to access maybe the content. I'll tell you. Earlier, whatever teacher brings to the classroom as a material, we used to blindly follow. Because I don't know from where I can get the material. Right now, none of us do that because even what material I am getting, our students can get. My students can also get the same material or better material. So the students have a better access towards the different types of resources. They have better experiences. Now, these people were talking, yes, when students are coming up to the classroom with experiences, our job is to build upon these experiences. Take the input from what experiences they are bringing and make them to construct knowledge. Allow them to construct knowledge. Take from their own experience, connect it to their real life experience so that they can construct the knowledge better. I'll make it very clear. Roll number 2. Your mic is on. Hence, constructivist teaching actually supports meaning making. Yes, meaning making, which is missing in higher education right now. Students are performing better in examinations, but maybe a very rare group is becoming more subject competent. You can see majority would be good performers, but do they have a deeper understanding in the subject? That is the question. So in higher education, what actually we can focus, providing a deeper understanding, critical thinking, and find out the application of the knowledge across different contexts. So if you focus these three, you are actually bringing constructivism into higher education. We'll see in detail. There are certain core principles what constructivism suggests. One is active learning. Students become active learners. They are not passive recipients. Now you think of how is it possible? Can I make everyone active learners? as sir told, yes, there should be some prerequisite. They need to be interested towards the subject. They should be well equipped with the previous knowledge. They should have a proper attitude. So that is where sometimes some of these entrance tests would support. Right? Now, even the common entrance test for the UG admission, PG admission actually should focus on this. Whether they have a proper attitude towards that particular subject, rather focusing only the content knowledge, the aptitude, right? When you take the research, what actually you do, you conduct the research aptitude test. When you take the teachers, you conduct the teaching aptitude. So similarly, the learning aptitude can be checked. Another is knowledge construction. This is another principle. If you follow maybe constructivism, the knowledge construction is going to happen. And there can be social interaction, contextual learning, and obviously when people are involved in constructing their own knowledge, I would say there would be multiple perspectives coming in.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Knowledge construction. What do you mean by this with the example?
Yeah, I'll give an example. Now, suppose I'm giving you three information. I'm giving three statements. Okay. The temperature, the atmospheric temperature decreased by 4 degrees Celsius from whatever existing, then it is raining. This is one statement. I give another statement. The temperature, atmospheric temperature decreased by 5 degrees Celsius, then it is raining. I give another information. The atmospheric temperature decreased by 6 degrees Celsius, then it is raining. You have three statements which talks about the reason for raining. Now I can ask any one of you what knowledge you can construct out of this. Right. So actually you will try to find out, is there any connectedness? Is there any pattern? Now, when you look at the pattern, you will see that the temperature is getting decreased. That gives rise to raining. Now, what is the knowledge I have? The knowledge that I can have is, if there is a decrement in temperature, it may rain. I will not say it is raining because I don't have enough evidence. So this is what knowledge constructions.
Sir, is this the illustration of connectivism?
It's not predictivism, but knowledge has got the predictability.
No, sir, predictivism not. You talked about connectivism, construction.
Even sir, wherever you have this, either connectionism or connectivism, it need not be, because here what I am doing, I have got a knowledge. When I have similar knowledge, your learning can become better, maybe following connectionism or connectivism. Here it is knowledge construction. It can be considered as a constructionism. Okay. And every knowledge has got a predictability. Actually, the knowledge is predictability, but somewhere we forget about that. And social interaction, it need not be person-to-person interaction. It can be person to maybe material interaction. Contextual learning. You are actually connecting to the real life. Then multiple perspectives and learner autonomy, because when you are having this, you have every reason to work on that. I have given three information. Now I am not asking what is a general statement that everyone can give me. You have got three information according to your choice, according to your interest, according to your attitude. You can process it and come up with the knowledge. So you have autonomy there. So that is why people talks about constructivism, because you are doing, I am supporting you. I am setting the stage where you perform. I create an environment where you experience. This is more important. And there are different types of constructivism. For your information, I'll just share it. One is cognitive constructivism. Cognitive constructivism is basically, I would say, an individual constructivism. Individual constructivism means you solely depend on your brain development, your brain capacity. Some students are very good in it. Some students, you might have seen, there are some students, they are independent learners. They don't need anybody's support. Why? That particular student's cognitive development is such a way that support the learning. The knowledge is actively constructed through the interaction with the environment, progressing through developmental stages that you forget, but actually individually they interact with the environment and learn. Rather, you learn it by heart. You are not learning by heart. Whatever inputs I am giving, you are able to process and you are able to learn it. So some students are very good in that and they have a better memory power. They can have a better retrieval capacity. Why? Because they depend upon assimilation and accommodation. What is assimilation and accommodation? Assimilation, you find out new component, new input, you process according to your interest, according to your capacity, and store it. Assimilation. I am not looking for, sir, you please explain. I am not asking. Whatever you are explaining, I identify the input, take it. That is why you might have seen when you take the class, when you are explaining, some students are very keen in taking some notes. They note down the points. They may not write entire statements. They may take down only the key points. Why? They may be able to develop the learning through the key point. They are actually following this cognitive constructivism. And accommodation. What is accommodation? I have learned something. For example, I learned a bhajan or a ghazal. I learned a ghazal. Maybe any important, very famous, popular ghazal. I present it before you. When I am presenting, maybe as a non-Hindi fellow, I learned this Hindi ghazal. When I am presenting to you, you may say that, no, sir, this lyric is not this, not like this. This is not the actual word you are supposed to use. Now, will I be able to bring the changes easily? I have already learned. I have already learned the ghazal. I am presenting before you. Now, it may be tough for me to change. Why? Because the learning has already happened. Whereas, if I am ready to modify, if I have a capacity to modify according to your inputs, you are actually accommodating. There are some students, they are very ideal, but they are very theoretical. No, this is what I learned. I am not ready to change at all. My teacher should tell me, or I need to have an evidence. Whereas here, they have the experience. I know that what will work in a particular context. I'm just thinking of a better example.
So can we say that accommodation means de-learning and relearning? De-learning.
It's not actually relearning. It's not relearning. See, I have learned something. For example, I learned maybe a particular language. For example, Hindi. I learned Hindi. Now, when I am talking with you, maybe in Hindi, you say that, sir, I think you have to take care of the grammar or some structuring is needed. Okay. Now, if I'm not able to modify that, actually, what I supposed to modify according to your suggestion. If I get convinced, okay, these mistakes I have. So what actually I should do? I accommodate those changes because that is a new learning. See, for example, colloquially when we speak, we may say, "Arey, what yaar? Kya yaar?" Right? Now, maybe in this particular platform, if I use that, when sir is talking, when I'm saying, "What yaar? Kya yaar?" It is not a formal talking, right? So we need to show the respect. So there are different way to use it. So accommodating is that I have already learned something. You have an existing learning, and based on the new experiences, am I able to modify what I have already learned? This is again strictly personal. More or less, you can connect it, sir. Learn, unlearn, relearn. The relearn is not happening. Unlearning is not happening. Rather, maybe relearning is happening. There is no unlearning, but relearning or modifying. So this actually was suggested by Piaget, Jean Piaget, and Vygotsky was talking about social constructivism. What he was telling, the social and cultural, there are social and cultural impacts on learning. Some of you might have heard about cultural responsive pedagogy. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not making more complex. Something that you learn has got a social cultural effect. What you learn, right? I'll come to that. What Vygotsky was talking, learning is a socially mediated process. And knowledge is co-constructed through interactions. These two. One, learning is not individually happening. It is socially mediated process. Because we are all social beings. We really have different interaction at different time. So learning can happen better through social interaction. And it is a co-construction process. When I construct, what is going to happen? I can easily compromise with me. Like this. I'm preparing for an exam. I know tomorrow's exam is very important. Sir is also having exam, or most of you are also having exam. Sir is deciding, okay, I will, throughout night, I am going to learn. I decide, okay, 1 hour I'll learn and I'll sleep. Why there are two different? There is no other compulsions. I can decide when to learn. I can decide how to learn. So it is all self-oriented. Like what sir was telling, it is intrinsic. It should be intrinsically motivated. Whereas, when you are in a group, you are compelled to learn because other members are also learning and they are supporting me to learn. Why am I not learning? I am not interested. Or I don't know how to write or how to read. Now, when I am in a group, my group members are supporting me. So the knowledge can be co-constructed. The language, symbol, whatever you use, the visuals, the interactive content, whatever you use, all these are actually supporting for social construction, or what you say, collaborative learning, guided participation, and dialogues. more interaction in the classroom. So what actually we can do, we can create learning groups in your classroom. Learning groups and give different tasks. Find out those content which they can learn in group, provide them, guide them for necessary resources so that the learning, the social construction of learning can happen, because you know in a group there is a synergy, there is a collective energy, there is a shared responsibility. So this is what Vygotsky talked about. Whereas another scientist talked about discovery learning. What is the discovery learning? Why are you giving a project to the students? Are they going to discover something? If a project assigned by you, if you are assigning a project to the students, then I would say the discovery would be, the rate of discovery would be very less. Why? It is assigned by you. Whereas, if I come with a project idea as a student, I am coming up with a project idea, then my discoveries would be more. Why? This is a problem what I felt. Hence, I involve. I find out different reasons. So, what actually you can do, what Jerome Bruner says, you can allow the students to become active discoverers. Like what you say, project, simple one is project-based learning. But what is happening right now in terms of project? Teachers are assigning the project, right? Whether our students are able to come up with the project idea? Most of the time, no. But what can I do? I can have maybe a kind of group discussion, present a problem, present an issue, present a problem, and let them sensitize. Let them understand, oh, there is a problem which I can find out. For example, I'm just bringing maybe the customer satisfaction or purchase behavior, right? What do you call? I don't know what exactly the term, purchase behavior. Now, recently I was listening a small talk. These e-commerce websites are actually creating a purchase addiction, right? You can have pay later, you can have EMI. Even if you don't have money, you can buy things. It will come to us, right? So now, how exactly these kind of, because almost all, number 32 would like to say something? Okay. Now almost all people are having mobile phone. They have GPay. They have bank account. Now, most of the people, even they may have the Amazon in, even any of the mobile, if they buy, they may have Amazon by default. Now, I am telling to the students, now students, see, you know what kind of purchase behavior we have, what kind of shopping behavior we have, and how many of you have got fake products? Right? Last week when I went to a plumbing shop to buy a pipe, he has given a Parryware. Parryware you may be knowing, is a very popular brand. He has given a Parryware. Then I raised a doubt, is it real? Is it original? Then he brought another and told that, sir, look at this. This is the fake one, which one of the customer brought online. So there are a lot of fakes coming in, fake products coming in online, because you cannot check it, the genuinity. So what can we do? What can we do can you think of maybe how can we address these kind of problems among a group of people in a particular area? Now the students can think, can we have an awareness program? Can we have a flash mob? Can we have a pamphlet? Which one will work? Then you say that, okay, whatever strategy you are planning, you should try it out and press report which is the best strategy. Then the students can think of, okay, sir, can we take it as a project? Okay, why can't you take it as a project? Then the teacher would say, okay, if you're taking it as a project, I need to have the structure or the different phases of the project, what you're going through. I am guiding them. How to formulate a project idea. How to formulate maybe the different phases. So like that, in a collaborative way, they can actually go ahead with this discovery learning. And another interesting strategy or constructivist strategy, which talks about experiential learning. Learning through real life experiences and a reflective thought. That is more important. Even I'm not saying that the entire curriculum can be transacted through experiential learning. No, it's not possible. As a teacher, analyze the curriculum, analyze the syllabus, understand where and all I have a scope of experiential learning. Wherever you have a scope of experiential learning, provide them the real life experiences and ask them to reflect upon it. What went well? What went wrong? Why is it went well? Why was it went wrong? So those kind of reflection and analysis would actually help them to learn better. So these are all some of the constructivist strands. And later we have another, which is called radical constructivism. Anyway, you need not blindly follow anyone. Have the idea of constructivism. It's a broader constructivist paradigm. What it says, radical constructivism, knowledge is actively constructed by the learner. Reality is subjective and individual. Viability, not truth. I'll explain. Learning is a self-organizing process. Communication is interpretation. These are all the key principles what radical constructivists talk about. Which is talking about the knowledge is actively constructed by the learner, whether they are in group or not. Even in the group, that's what we do, right? We give the group activity. How do you assess? You are assessing individuals, not the group. Because we don't have a group assessment strategy, or we don't have a scope of group assessment, right? In your mark sheet, can you say that this student was in group A, so this is a score of group A? No. We are giving the score for the individual performance, for the individual ability. So hence, even you can agree that, yes, knowledge is actively constructed. Then reality is subjective and individual. There is the reality is subjective, what you experience. And viability is more important, not the truth. What you are constructing, whether it is viable. It need not be truth. That means it support even falsifiability. You need not get always this is the truth. Are you able to use existing input and construct the knowledge, and it need not be always supporting the truth. Even you can construct the knowledge that helps you to falsify. Then learning is a self-organizing process, and communication is the interpretation. Means communication is needed. Whatever you interpret, you should be in a position to express. I'll make it a little more clear. What are the process of knowledge construction? One is activation of prior knowledge. If you want to construct knowledge, if anyone want to construct knowledge, it's not so easy to construct knowledge from vacuum. You need to have some certain experience. Based on your previous experience, you can construct. Role number 2. Okay. So activation of prior knowledge would actually help to construct knowledge. So you think of how best you can activate the prior knowledge. Second, engagement with new information. What the students supposed to construct, they should get engaged with. How to engage with, we will discuss little later. How to engage. But engagement is needed. And what is next? The next one may be a little tough to read it. It is called cognitive conflict and disequilibrium. Whether you can help the students to develop or to experience cognitive conflict, means a doubt, a confusion, or a doubt. There are some teachers who create a lot of confusion in the class. But by the end of the class, the teacher would support the students to clarify or clear that confusion. This is what cognitive conflict and disequilibrium, providing different inputs to question by themselves. Another methods of knowledge construction is meaning making and internalization. For this, your previous experience helps. How do you make the meaning? How to create the meaning? If the students are able to make meaning and internalize it, actually they'll be able to construct knowledge. And other core process of knowledge construction is co-construction through social interaction. We have already seen. And another is application and transfer. Like what sir was telling in the beginning. I feel the students have learned something when they are able to apply. Right? So providing the application and then they can see that whether I have learned it or not, or do I need to modify. Another most interesting process is reflection and metacognition. What is reflection and metacognition? By today, you may go back, some of you may go back and see, okay, anyway, this learning is something very interesting. How did I learn? How usually I learn? Whether there was some problem in my learning, do I need to change it? Means there is a self-reflection possible. And also think about how best I learn. Now I realize when I was teaching maybe first year UG students physics, this mechanics paper, I was thinking, if I was able to understand the way right now I understand, when I was in class 12 or maybe first year UG, I would have scored better. I think almost all of us share the same experience, right? When we were students, we never understood the content the way we understand right now. What is the difference? Have you ever thought it? Even now, even the toughest content, you are able to understand easily. Why? If you consider teaching as a challenging job, which consider to convince at least half of the students, I need to think, if I have 30 students, I feel at least for 10 different group of 10 different students, I need to convince the same content. I think of multiple way of explaining. I may explain in simple language. I may explain bilingually. I may explain with example. I will simplify. So I may use analogy. So whatever possible, I always think about, okay, if I want to tell this particular content, what way I can? Do I need to think of multiple representation so that my learning would be better? Now moving ahead, what are the practices that we can have? One is inquiry-based learning. Make learning inquiry-based one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
This apply and transfer of the knowledge. This transfer aspect I didn't get, sir.
Yeah. Transfer aspects, sir. Apply is what? Apply, you are applying in the field. Directly you are applying. Okay. Transfer is the knowledge what I have got right now, I may take it into another context. Right. See.
Example, sir.
Example. I have learned maybe coding. Because in Python, I have learned coding. Okay. Python coding you have taught me. I learned it. I can apply for different coding in Python. Now I feel I want to use SPSS. Okay. Wherein I can write the syntax. My coding knowledge from Python helps me to transfer to that. One example. Second, now I'm learning a lot of life skills. Like in management, I learn this critical thinking. I have practiced maybe creative thinking, problem solving and all. I have learned and performed for the sake of getting pass. Right? I am applying it. Now, the critical thinking and creative thinking, I use when I am constructing a house, I use my thinking for my interior decoration. Right?
Now I got it.
Yeah, transfer it. See, that is why, sir, we have these incubation hubs, innovation clubs, right? Or startups.
Basic concept of one discipline is applied to other discipline or course.
Yes. And that is why even NAP emphasizes be multidisciplinary. So that the student can easily appreciate that. What works in one discipline can also work in the other discipline. This is actually a transfer. So coming to the practices, you can have inquiry-based learning. There are different techniques to make it inquiry. Means you can have an online survey, you can have the interviews, you can go through the document. You are actually involved in the inquiry. Keep on inquiring through different resources, through different people, through different contexts, you can learn. Another is problem-based learning or project-based learning. I hope I need not explain that. Then you have something called collaborative learning. Make the learning collaborative, like what I was telling, have group-based activities. Now I have a content which has got 5 dimensions. Now I will make 5 different groups. Each group will be provided one dimension. Ask them to prepare well, present it. I will ask the other 4 groups to ask questions or ask them to observe. So in that way, on a rotation basis, you can have it. Collaborative learning or create the learning group. Then you have case-based learning. Case-based learning, or what you call case studies or case-based learning. You bring different cases. Through the cases, they can learn. Case would become the input. Then it is scaffolded instruction. Scaffolded instruction, you have your instruction. You analyze how the learning is happening and you provide the scaffolding or support. I'll give an example. I'm a sociology teacher. Okay. Now, I decide one unit I'm not going to teach. They are going to learn. So what I do, I have 10 groups, maybe 4 people, 10 groups in the class. I divide the entire content into 10. give them, each group I give them certain content. I won't leave them. I will give them the necessary supporting material. To what extent they have to prepare. Now what I say, 10 sessions, the next 10 sessions you are going to handle. The first session will be handled by first group. And the remaining 9 groups should raise minimum one question. Okay. Now, what this first group can do? First group can try to answer. There may be some questions which they may not be able to answer. So if there are certain questions which they may not be able to answer, I will tell, okay, what you can do, I will keep a question box. You can post it there. Now I have 10 sessions, maybe extending to 3 weeks. Now in the end of the 1 week, maybe 5 sessions would have happened. I will go as a teacher, take those questions. 6th session, I will appear in the class. Whatever doubts you were having in all the 5 sessions, I'll clarify. This is a kind of scaffolding. Or I am allowing the students to take up a project. Maybe the project. What I'll tell? You tell me the different phases of the project. The student says, sir, first one is collecting appropriate information. Okay, good. Second, sir, second is you process this information, try to answer certain research questions. Very good. Third one is interpretation and discussion. Very good. So finally, you will have the presentation. Good. Now I will ask, where should I support you? Sometimes the students may not be able to tell that, where should I support? Sir, you decide. Then I'll tell, okay, after every phase, I would like to involve. Students may not get an idea. Then I tell, okay, now for next 3 days, you involve in collection of information. Maybe they'll go to library and collect information. When they come back, I'll sit with each group. Find out whether the information collected is appropriate, adequate, whether there are irrelevant data information that they have collected, how many of them were able to collect proper information. Then I will give, okay, out of this, 4 of you collected information. Out of this, which are all the important information that you can use it for processing? Which kind of information you have to discard? Allow them to second phase. This can also be a scaffolded instruction. Then you can have concept mapping or graphic organizers.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I have one remark. This scaffold instruction.
Yeah.
This methodology is, I think, time and cost effective, because at the same time we are deploying many aspects of the learner-centric approaches.
Yes, correct.
Like
correct.
peer learning, peer assessment, and
Yes.
one critical thinking is used by other to provoke their thinking. So
Correct,
I
sir.
guess it is very nice
And even,
way of.
sir, my humble request is, now even the other participants may be thinking, is it applicable? Is it possible every time? No, I am not advocating to be pure constructivist. No, wherever possible, at least you give a try in one semester, so that let our students have a different experience.
And one more thing is happening here is inclusiveness of everyone here. Everyone is getting
Thank you.
included here. That is.
And I'm so thankful, sir. This is what the advantages of constructivism, and especially social constructivism.
Active learning by itself happening here,
Yes.
because that is the core of the this concept.
Yes.
But inclusiveness, that is something missing in other aspects sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
here it gets sure that we are having that also.
That is where I was mentioning somewhere in between, there are different grouping strategies. Right. So even the grouping itself, we can consider the inclusiveness. Don't go with the same grouping. You have ability grouping, mixed ability grouping, heterogeneous grouping. interest grouping, like that, there are different grouping. So that grouping itself, you can consider the inclusivity. Thank you, sir. Now, another point is concept mapping and graphic organizers kind of tools. It can be blogging, it can be mind map creation, it can be graphic organizer, it can be website presentation, it can be a video creation and uploading YouTube, where they are involved, or even creating reels. Create a reel based on the subject, based on a particular topic. Rather, see, nowadays they don't have proper content. So generally they can you can assign, because they are very good in reels. They are very, so you can assign, why can't you have a reel on this particular topic? So if they want to give maybe within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, they should understand that particular content very well, very nicely, then only they can put it. Otherwise, it may be a presentation kind of thing. So you can think of. So these are all some of the strategies for constructivist. And you can always think of whether this is possible. These 5 E's are possible or not. Allowing students to engage, then allow the students to explore. Right? You are providing a problem. Now the students are involved in thinking of how to solve. In order to solve, they find some resource. They explore. Where can I get some material? Where can I get some material? Once I get some material, they come to you and explain, sir, this is what I have got. This is what I have got. They explain. While explaining, you understand. Some of them have got the clarity, and you may pose further questioning to extent, and meanwhile you can evaluate. So if you want to try any constructivist learning in your classroom, I would request at least these 5 E's you keep it in mind. Engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Provide the students the scope for engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate.
Sir, there are 7 is also, na?
7, 3 is there, 7 is there.
Elicit and extend, we can add there in 7.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am. So why I am not presenting, ma'am, if it is an education faculty group, I can bring 3E, 5E, 7E.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So since we have from all the other discipline, I thought
Yes,
at
sir.
least this would be a
5
better
is.
starting point.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And there are different teaching strategies. I'm not explaining each and every one because you may get bored, but I will share this. Inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, collaborative learning, case-based learning, experience. All these we have discussed some or the other way. And techniques, we have already discussed scaffolding, anchored discussion, metacognitive reflection, cognitive apprenticeship. So these are some of the words you can just, because all these may require more time to explain. But I thought anyway, being a higher education faculty, you may find something interesting so that you will explore. There are teaching methods like Socrative questioning, jigsaw method, concept mapping, role play and simulation, learning contracts, think, pair, share. And even if you look for some of the tools, like especially technology based, right? You can have Google Docs, Microsoft Team, Miro, Moodle, Canvas, Blackboard, Kaggle, Mentimeter. PhET is a simulation application. Padlet, I don't know whether you have used Padlet. Right? Flip, SPSS, R, Python, you may be using. Or you have OER. Open education repositories are available, which the students can access, they can modify. So there are different types of tools. Only thing, we should have a mindset to make our classroom more constructivist oriented. So with that, I think we'll stop at this point. Even there are points which we have already come across. So the role of the teacher is more important. in a constructivist classroom. The teacher is a facilitator and a co-learner. We also can learn because the way they are dealing with the information, they are dealing with the cognitive conflicts, all these we can learn, and they design learning environment that are rich, challenging, and supportive. They provide scaffolds, model strategies, and encourage exploration. They foster a culture of inquiry, dialogue, and respect for diverse ideas. So you check yourself whether you are able to change towards any of these roles so that you can become a constructive teacher. But coming to the challenges, time intensive, like even Sir was mentioning, because some of these strategies require more time. So if UGC is planning to make all higher education faculties as constructivists, then we have to look into the curricular load. But I think in terms of multidisciplinarity, in terms of this choice-based credit-based choice system, right? We have little more flexibility because each of the faculty would be offering courses. So when you are designing a course which you are offering, think of how much content it need to be, right? Assessment alignment, because sometimes now some of you may be thinking, sir, we will do all these kind of activities, but what about the assessment? After all, at the end of the semester, there will be a written test. Can we give away with those kind of tests? Can we make use of some alternative assessment? If you give the freedom, then we are happy. But we don't have that. Then faculty preparation and learner readiness. Unless and until these two challenges are being addressed, I don't think we can bring changes. But being a higher education faculty, though you are not trained on teaching, my humble submission is the way you are teaching, have a small research orientation. Not in your subject, the way you are teaching. You look at the way you are teaching, maybe find some feedback from your own students about some of your method of teaching and try to bring some variety in your teaching so that it will become better. So I think with that, we will stop at this point and maybe another 7 minutes if there are any questions or any doubts. Yeah, please welcome to. I know you may not be asking any question. So I'll do one thing. I'll share my mail ID. If at all you would like to be in touch or to know more about some of the input, you can just, because I feel this as an opportunity to get connected with people. Networking, right? Somehow or the other reason I am this side as a person to talk. Otherwise, all of you are equally resourceful, experienced in your own field. So I feel it's a fellow being feeling that I'm getting an opportunity to get connected with almost 67 people or 62 people. So let me thank each one of you who have participated very constructively and very cordially. Thanks a lot and I wish you all the best. And let me thank Director MMTTC, Coordinator Afay sir and all the staff there at MMTTC, giving me a great opportunity to interact with a great group of learners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Roll number 14, vote of thanks. Roll number 14. Roll number 14, are you there? Roll number 14.
Madam?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Can any one of us can propose a vote of thanks right now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shall I take this
Yes,
opportunity?
yes.
So, good evening. Today's session, Dr. Biju sir has given a very informative insightfulness on the topic that is learning centric and cognitive development approaches. Respected sir, on behalf of UGC, MMTTCC, and we all the participant express the words of gratitude very deeply for your continuous interactive session, as well as the way and the insight with illustrations, examples, cases, and sir, through your session you have developed within us a very what we can say, a different vision among the teachers. Maybe one of the point, as we have discussed extrinsic and instinct motivation. So whenever we will go in our classroom, we will think that how to teach beyond the classrooms.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much, sir.
Thank
And you're always, we will always remember you, sir, for your this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hand over the session to roll number 28, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I think I can leave the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please, all of you listen. Whenever your turn is there, please be ready for the vote of thanks and biodata reading. Please don't miss that.
Shall we leave the meeting?
Where is Amol, sir? I don't know whether we should leave the meeting or don't know. Can I call her? Call him, sorry. 1 minute.
Madam, can we leave the meeting?
Yes, sir. सर सरांचं झालेलं आहे लेक्चर. आम्ही मीटिंग हे करू.
मी लीव करतो मॅम.
येस येस सर येस.
थँक्यू.
मॅम लिव्ह करायचं मीटिंग.
हो हो मॅडम हो करा.
थँक्यू मॅम.
Yes, participant, you can leave this Zoom meeting.